I'm gonna have to fix that intro. Our little sting there needs to be fixed drastically. Refused to do it. That's the first time. So anyway, how is everyone?
Well, hello.
Hello, Mike. Hello, Liam.
Thanks for the invite.
How are you doing?
You're welcome. So I will fix that. I'll fix the yes. I don't know what happened there. My apologies. 34 seconds didn't actually didn't actually work. So let's after this I'll do that. So Mac, seeing you just got in, would you like a minute to collect yourself, or would you like to just jump into it?
Hey man, I'm always ready. Born ready. That's one of the advantages of having ADHD. Hey, hey Liam, how you doing, man?
I'm good, thanks. How
are you doing the freeze thing on purpose there?
Sorry?
I'm very good. I said it looked like you were doing that freeze face on purpose.
Oh, really?
Good to finally meet you. I know Joel's been speaking a lot about you, and we're looking forward to seeing where this conversation goes today. You've had quite a journey by the looks of it, and I want to hear everything from your public speaking to the whole boxing thing. I think there's you got a fight coming up in September.
Yeah.
Yep. And everything to do with ADHD, and neurodiversity, your coaching, all these different things. So for those people that are listening and watching tonight, if you've got any questions, just drop them into the comments so that we can bring those up on screen for Liam, or if you have those for Joel and myself. But Liam's the main man in the spotlight today, so let's put him in the hot seat and make good use of his time.
I do like the fact, Mac, that you said that all those people in the comments who are watching drop us a comment below when you're the only person with 6 screens with enough screens to see who's there.
That's fine. I'll be doing all of that in the background. I'll be multitasking. I've got that bit of butterfly mentality. So, I'll be focusing a little bit over here, a little bit over there. You guys just pull me back in when you need to. It's all part of the fun. It's crazy, Liam. Joel and I have now been doing these lives. They started off, were supposed to be 8 episodes. And Joel, drew me in and... what are we on now, Joel? We must be on like 40, 50 episodes, maybe plus. Well, season 3 has just been very long. I mean, it just keeps going. But Liam, I'm not sure if you're frozen over there on my screen.
I think we're over halfway through now.
Good. Before we hit on to the next one. Before you say it, Joel. But Liam, I'd love to hear your story and a bit of an intro, because from what I know, you were only diagnosed quite late with ADHD. Just want a little bit of kind of background of who you are, what you do, because I know if you look at your banner on LinkedIn, you've been featured on places like Fox News and The Sun and various other news outlets. And for those that don't know you, give us a good 30 to 60 second kind of high level overview, so that people know a little bit about you before they start diving in with questions and finding out more about you.
I think he had actually frozen now. I think he had actually frozen, so we will try and get him back.
I've just seen it.
Oh, there he is. sort
Yeah, I
of.
wonder if it's LinkedIn, because LinkedIn seems to be having a bit of a glitch today, because I've been trying to get on for about 20 minutes, which is a bit bizarre.
Well, that would be that. Well, your theory would be right, Mac. Except that we're on StreamYard,
Yeah, of
not
course. So my
LinkedIn.
name's Liam Tuohy. I live in Chigwell, which is East London / Essex. Am I there? How's that?
We can hear you.
Yes,
as I was saying,
yeah, I'm good.
Good. You're coming in and out a little bit choppy there. I'm not sure if it's the StreamYard connection with LinkedIn, but hopefully we can
it
get.
looks like I'm moving. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes.
Great. So I'll start. So yeah, I mean, my name's Liam Tuohy. I come from Chigwell, which is in Essex. Essex.
We are having problems here. I think
Can you hear me?
Liam's. Yeah, we can. Liam, whatever you do, don't move a muscle except your mouth where you're in that position.
Yo.
So the alternative, if it doesn't fix, if the alternative doesn't work, the alternative is, just leaving the room and coming straight back in for the connection. So that old IT, fix, switch it on, switch it back, switch it off and back on.
Yeah, that would be, but he's in an area which doesn't have very good internet.
I've been to Chigwell, so depending on where you are, you might be on far from a mast.
Yeah, I think he's far from a mast. Sorry, folks. This is never happened before. All the benefits of actually having people in the same room would be nice, but there we go. That's this is the next best thing.
Well, Chigwell's not too far, Joel. We might just have to
can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes. Well, we heard something. So, Mac, while we're
Joel, in the meantime, tell us how you heard about Liam and why he's become one of your special guests for tonight.
Shall I leave and come back?
Yeah, do that, Liam, and then we'll and then we'll bring you back up again. Apologies for this, everyone. This is never happened before. Right. How I met Liam.
Yep.
Really, really, really interesting.
Is he back in the room?
Are you back in the room? Oh, a minute. Let me get this back up and see if this works. Are you back, Liam? He's giving us the stare of death.
Hopefully, you guys can get.
Now, what I would do, Liam, is I would go out and come back in again. We'll try and get you back on a good connection. Failing that, you might want to connect to your. Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? That's the most important thing.
I'm gonna leave and come back.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes, that is better.
All good, yeah.
Until it isn't.
Yeah, that's good. All right, great. Here we go. So my name's Liam. I told you I'm from Chigwell. I live with ADHD my whole life, undiagnosed, up until about 2 years ago, when I finally got the medication that changed my life. Before that life was...
Liam, so we've lost you again.
It's getting out, Liam. Go back, go out the room and come back in again. Same length, and then we'll get you back. Also, you might want to switch to your 4G if that's any better. Although it is Chigwell, so probably not.
Struggle. I was constantly getting into trouble. We'll get.
Someone has suggested it might work if you turn your video off.
See more times than I can even remember. And yeah, as soon as I got the medication, it really just allowed me to focus and get so much more done. And with that, I started my business off the back of it, which is something that I wouldn't have done if I didn't get diagnosed with.
Liam, can you hear us over there?
So
I'm guessing now. But yeah, Liam, one of our comments has said that
the ADHD medication changed and shaped me into the person I am today. So for that reason, I believe that it is the people with ADHD that I was born of.
Hey Liam, can you hear us over there?
Yeah, I'm a living, breathing, walking, talking example of what I do, because I live and breathe fitness, and of course I live and breathe ADHD every single day of my life. So I'm an ADHD coach too, high performance fitness coach for individuals with ADHD. Very temperamental, this, ain't it? But hopefully you heard that.
So
we got bits of it, yes.
We got bits of it, which is quite ironic because, you know, being somebody with ADHD, I think anybody watching this must realize that the streaming is run by somebody who's got ADHD too, because the server is going in and out.
Well, but if this could be this, we're not trying to illustrate what it's like to be ADHD. It just happens to be a happy coincidence.
Yeah, so Liam is gonna drop out and hopefully pop back into the room, and we'll have a bit of a
hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Yeah, we can hear you. No dropouts. Well, that's a little bit strange. No dropouts, Liam.
Patchy. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Liam, see if it works. If you sign out altogether, just leave the room altogether, close the thing down, the window down,
I can hear both of you. Yeah.
Then come back in.
Well, yeah, Liam, do what Max said. Sign out of the window. So also, I would reset your router and come back in. Yeah.
You try that.
Alrighty. Right. So we don't end up looking like we're behind a bar.
Ryan, love your comments about being rather fitting with our ADHD.
Yeah, anything can happen. Unfortunately, with Wi-Fi, if it was hardwired, it would be slightly more reliable. Well, I say that, but I'm on BT, so anything still happens.
Anything is possible.
But anyway, while we're waiting for Liam to he's back. So let's try this again.
Take 32.
Hi, guys.
We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I think I'll just leave the camera off just to be.
Keep the camera off. We don't want to paralyze your system.
Yeah, if it's what I mean, I'm on my phone. My laptop's playing up at the minute, so it's a bit of a struggle. But I've got my phone here, so As long as you can hear me, that's the
I
main
can
thing,
hear you.
right?
Yep.
Right, good. So look, I didn't know how sort of far you got up to when it cut out, but as you know, I am the UK's number one high performance ADHD health and fitness coach. I lived with ADHD my whole life undiagnosed up until about 2 years ago, when I finally got the medication that changed my life. Ever since, I've relentlessly studied ADHD and neurodiversity as a whole. So I hyper focused on learning about the thing that affected me so much my whole life. I've gained numerous certificates in neurodiversity, ADHD awareness. I'm an ADHD UK advocate. I'm speaking at the ADHD 360 conference in September, which is probably the biggest win yet of my career, which is great for me. I'm a high performance ADHD health and fitness coach and provide fitness solutions specifically designed for individuals with ADHD, which will allow them to get into the shape of their life, not only physically, but mentally too. I'm also an inclusive workplace specialist that delivers talks on neurodiversity in the workplace, because I've been knocked down by employers my whole life. So I've got a really strong story, really powerful message, and I want to try and help as many people as I can, because I know firsthand how fitness combats ADHD.
Mark is thinking.
No, there's a few things that kind of stand out there, because Liam, you mentioned that it's only been 2 years since you got diagnosed. What made you think about actually getting diagnosed? What led down that path?
Well, I will share it with you. It's not something I publicly share, but my little sister unfortunately went to prison. She got sent to prison. She got 12 years for something that she didn't even do, and she got diagnosed with it in prison. And when I was speaking to her on the phone, me and her are worlds apart, but very similar in a lot of ways. And I thought, God, I need some of that, because we're very similar in some ways. So she got out and nicked a bit of her medication, and it changed my life. And the rest is history. So it's quite a funny story, because I was actually on a Zoom call with the owner of ADHD UK, Henry Shelton, and he said that he's never ever heard of anything like this. So I was taking a medication from my sister, so I wasn't officially diagnosed. And because I kicked up so much of a fuss with the doctor and said, look, it's changed my life, I need this, you need to give this to me right now, they actually prescribed it to me without being officially diagnosed. So I only got officially diagnosed in May 24 this year. So I was taking the medication the whole way through, because I kicked up so much of a fuss about it and said how much it changed my life. The doctor actually prescribed the lowest dose of methylphenidate to me. But now I'm officially diagnosed, and they have gave me a new medication, which is lixdanamphetamine or something. And that, for me, is a real game changer. I'm on fire with that stuff. I can't tell you how much that's changed me. So, yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, but that's kind of where it comes from.
Well, you say it's a weird one, but unfortunately, in today's day and age, most people only find out, with their children, that they actually, like myself, as an example, my daughter got diagnosed with ADHD, and we didn't really want to get her labeled. So it took us a while before we went down the official kind of route. But as a parent, more often than not in today's day and age, when you take your child and they get diagnosed, and you sit there and you listen to the diagnosis, and you're like, well, that's not weird. That's me. I do the same thing. And then you realize that that's actually not like everybody else. And, there are tools to help. But unfortunately, if you go back 10, 15, 20 years, neurodiversity, Joel and I did a massive interview and a event last year where most professionals that jumped on had never heard the word neurodiverse.
Yeah.
So your journey, even though it might seem like a unique, something different for yourself, I bet you there are other people that will listen to this, whether it be now live or the recordings on YouTube or on LinkedIn or Facebook, that will be able to relate to this and go, hold on, how come maybe I need to go and get checked out? Because one of the things that you talk about is being an advocate for ADHD in the workplace. And I've got a few questions around that, because since Joel and I have been doing these lives, we've had people reach out, and I've had quite a few people get quite emotional and reach out and go, I know I've got ADHD, but I don't want to tell my employer because I don't want that to impact my work or me to lose my job, especially people that have just started a job and they're still in the probation period, because they don't want to, we all know that companies, if somebody is different, they'll find a way, to get rid of people without actually supporting that place, the person in the workplace itself. So can you tell us a bit about your experience and what you find some of the challenges that individuals face in the workplace?
100%. So I'll give you a little rundown on my story. So, this is how it really went for me. So, as I said to you, I was involved in a lot of crime. I've been arrested more times than I can imagine. And I got arrested for the last time back in 2021. And that is when I thought my life was over. That is when I had to sort my life out. That is when I had to go off and actually get a job. For once in my life, I went off, I got a job, and it was working in a Pilates studio. So I was training and learning to become a Pilates instructor. Now, I didn't really want to do the job, but they was the only ones that didn't DBS check me and give me a criminal record background check. So, of course, I had to take that job with both hands. Now, as soon as I got the first interview out with them, they was asking me things like, are you a fast learner? And things like that. Now, look, I knew I wasn't a fast learner, but of course, I'm not going to tell them that, am I? Because I'd never get the job. But there was no, although at the time I didn't even know that I had ADHD, there was no question on there asking me whether I did have a neurodiverse condition. And the thing is, on the application form, a lot of people do hide it because they don't want to get looked at like they're different, But there's a good chance that after building up relationships with their leaders, that they've told them down the line. But initially, if you tell your leader, boss, whoever it might be that you've got it, there's a good chance you're not even going to get that job. So a lot of people do hide it, which is unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. So that's what happened to me. Anyway, because I couldn't learn it quick enough, they let me go just before Christmas. I had no money. I felt embarrassed, ashamed, and honestly felt worthless. Everyone else got paid but me. So it went like this. We was learning, we was training to become that Pilates instructor. But they said to me, look, I'm so sorry. We're going to have to let you go. Your work ethic is second to none, but you're just not learning it quick enough. I begged and pleaded with the guy to keep me on, and finally agreed to let me come back in the new year on the basis that I wasn't getting paid. So I had no money all over Christmas. Everyone else got paid apart from me, but I agreed. So anyway, I went back in the new year. I thought I was doing pretty well, but I think by then they'd already made their mind up. So he called me into his office and said, Liam, again, I'm so sorry. Your work ethic is second to none, but you're just not learning it quick enough. We're going to have to let you go. So I got my stuff and left. So there I was again, New Year, January, unemployed, and didn't know what the hell on earth I was going to do. But then a few weeks later, I got diagnosed with ADHD, and it was almost like a light had been switched back on. I started working for a really good friend of mine, selling high-ticket steel in a steel factory where I live, near Raynham, which is Dagenham, that way. in Essex,
Essex.
London. Yeah, so I was smashing the sales one after another, time and time again, breaking records with the medication running through my veins. I honestly felt unstoppable. But then, unfortunately, my boss at the time, George, at 47, had a heart attack and died, which left me unemployed and devastated, to say the least. So, while I had a little bit of time on my hands, I was racking my brains on what my next move should be, which is when I registered Too Tough Health and Fitness as a limited company, and the rest is history.
Sure. Well, Liam, it's all these details. They, I guarantee you, there's somebody out there listening or will be listening that can definitely relate to this, because you mentioned earlier about having several different convictions, not being able to learn quick enough. But the challenges that as somebody with ADHD and also a late bloomer, as it were, finding out is the workplace. One of the things that we find is historic onboarding for individuals. If you don't know that your employee has ADHD, you can't support them and provide them with the right tools. Therefore, they can't learn in the best way for that individual. And so did you find that there are better ways to learn the things that you were told that you were too slow at learning?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. If only they would have gave me that little bit more time at the beginning of a new task, that would have been a real game changer for me, because, of course, I would have been flying right now. But thank God they let me go, because I'd be dead inside right now if I was in that job, But, that they do things like, they'll do things like we're doing now. They'll interview you on Zoom and make their mind up through a Zoom interview. But if that job role doesn't involve communication, then how
you can't judge somebody on
do you get it? So it's like, all right, so you're making me out and feeling me out for a Zoom call, but my job role doesn't involve communication. And that wasn't my particular job role, but I'm just giving you an example, right? But
it's like judging a fish by its ability to climb a tree.
Yeah. There's there's loads they can do. They for one, they didn't make me feel welcome. I was with all due respect, a bunch of idiots that didn't speak my language. They were, from a completely different world to me. But, I had to give it a real shot and just try and deal with these people. But yeah, I was different. Of course I was. And I even remember learning with two of the other boys, and they was a bit younger than me. But, I could see them laughing when I might be struggling. And, someone who's got, someone that I was really trying hard. I could look you dead in the face and not hear a single word you said. So it was a real struggle for me. And yeah, for them to, I nearly lost it multiple times. And I think the teacher saw that, and I think they all had a meeting amongst themselves and just thought, this boy's he's not cut out for this. He's not one of us, So look, they was like a bunch of farmers from a completely different world, man. Completely different area. And again, didn't speak my language, so I didn't fit in at all. But again, I really needed that job at the time. But thank God they let me go.
So, unfortunately, I can relate quite well to the struggle. But what I want to know from you is, what was your you've mentioned the challenges you faced up until you discovered this medication. Because I know my daughter, as an example, has ADHD, and only once she got officially diagnosed did they put her on medication, which all of a sudden overnight she was a different child. for somebody like yourself that you've had to, like I would say, overcompensate for your ADHD in multiple scenarios, not knowing that you have ADHD.
Yeah.
So it's like fighting an uphill battle without knowing where the rungs are to hold on to because you didn't have the tools.
Definitely.
And how frustrating was your journey? In hindsight now that that there could have been something to help, but you didn't know that there wasn't. You don't know what you don't know. If that makes sense?
Yeah. Of course. So obviously, when I was 6 years old, I did get diagnosed with dyslexia, because I was really struggling as a kid to tell the time on a normal clock, and it was only me and one kid that got taken out of class, and it was tough. Everyone was looking at us. And it was real hard to get taken out of class, because you felt stupid.
Always singled out, eh?
And yeah, I got taken out of class, but they didn't back then. Back in my day, I mean, I'm 38, yeah. So, it was kind of unheard of. It was kind of like naughty kid, slap on the wrist, get on with it, right? So there was no, ADHD was, so much more in your face now. But I think back then, it wasn't. And I think even now, I mean, we've got a long way to go. But for me, I think if that company would have done to me now what they did then, there's a good chance I could probably take them to court now because there's so much more in your face. But, again, I didn't know I had ADHD, did I? So
it's interesting. I'm just thinking of this analogy because one of my cousins loves scuba diving. And when I think about ADHD, if you could imagine, 10 people going scuba diving, but the one person has never been scuba diving before, everybody assumes that they can scuba dive.
Yeah.
And you send them underwater, and that person can't breathe because they don't realize the release valve for their tank is closed because they've never, they just think they should be able to breathe by sucking in through this mask.
Yeah.
And and then the instructor getting cross with a person who keeps going to the top to get air because they can't breathe, and it's a survival thing. But that's like being undiagnosed with ADHD is being underwater, wanting to experience the world that everybody else is, but you can't hold your breath long enough because nobody's told you. By the way, there's this tool that can help just by opening the valve. You can breathe like everybody else. So
100%. I mean, when I had an important task or deadline coming up, excuse my French, I used to shit myself. I really, really did. And I used to take all types of focus tablets, caffeine tablets, natural nootropics. And I used to give it my best shot. I really did. I used to stay up all night. And I used to think, I've got this. And then I used to go in the next day and fail miserably. And it was extremely tough. I couldn't understand why it was happening.
So, it feels like I'm talking to somebody in the mirror here because I've been through a lot of these things myself. Yes. But so here's the thing. Let's change this a little bit. So, guaranteed there are people listening that don't realize they have ADHD. What kind of things would you tell people today, knowing what you know, to look out for so that they can go and look for help and get the help they need?
Well, look, it's hard because as we all know, ADHD shows up differently for everyone, right? So
same as autism.
Just because it shows up in one way for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to show up in one way for another. Like, I'll give you an example. Me personally, I live and breathe fitness. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I go running. I'm doing this every single day of my life, and I've done it for years. But my little sister, who's got ADHD, couldn't think of anything worse. So it's really important that people know it shows up differently for everyone, So that's a really hard question to answer because I could sit there and go to you, well, if you're lacking a little bit of focus, well, no, because everyone lacks focus at times, right? So it's extremely hard. It's extremely hard. And again, I would probably still be living with it right now had my sister not have gone prison, you know, and so would she. I honestly believe that. My sister's got a really powerful story too.
Well, I think we're going to have to get to know her story at some point as well.
Yes.
But, I love the fact that you've given the right answer there. Although there's no when it comes to neurodiversity,
there is no right answer.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
But for me, in this situation, there is a right answer in the sense that not everybody's alike, and that's why it's so important for people to realize that there is there's this variation. It shows up in people in different ways, but there might be somebody out there listening who has a similarity to you, and they go, hold on, actually, I didn't notice that trait could mean there's a tool, there's something that can help. Because, as you've already spoken about, I mean, how did it make you feel when you were trying to, firstly, hold on to a job, secondly, trying to get those jobs, but not aware of your ADHD before that? Like, what were the kind of the challenges you faced?
It was a real struggle just to retain information.
Oops.
What?
Oopsie. Right.
He's coming back.
There
we go. We'll put you back. You're back.
Here? Yeah, great.
Guess who's back?
Yeah, you'll have to repeat that question. So sorry. I forgot.
No, it was just
funny, ain't it?
I was asking, how did it make you feel in those situations where you had these challenges as somebody with ADHD, but you weren't aware that you had ADHD yet?
Mate, it made me feel, and you can't see me, but it made me feel about this big. I felt stupid, but I felt stupid my whole life. And that is how I felt, because in everything I would do, I would fail miserably. But had I been given a little bit more time at the beginning of the new task, I would have been flying. But patience and perseverance is all it takes, really. Just a little bit more patience. If a lot of people would have had a little bit more patience with me, I know I'd be flying right now. But again, thank God they didn't. But
well, here's the thing: you've become this advocate for neurodiversity and your ADHD now. But that just that little bit that you said there, where you felt stupid and as an impact on your personal self-esteem.
Yeah.
That is, that's massive.
Yeah.
Not knowing that actually you just function differently. There's nothing wrong with you. You just operate in a different way to other people.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, like I said to you, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I could look you dead in the face and not a single word you said. I'll never forget my ex-girlfriend. She used to go to me, "You've just looked me dead in the eyes, and I've told you twice what I do." And even that made me feel a little bit stupid, but I was generally trying my best to listen. Even back in the Pilates studio, when he was giving me instructions, I was looking, because I was like, right, this is it now. This is crunch time. They're going to let me go. I need to try hard. So I'd look this guy dead in the face, and I would try to retain every last bit of information that he was telling me. And I just could not do it. And I was like, and that's it. I'm gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was tough.
So
the medication changed my life, mate.
Medication is definitely that one tool that has made a difference. And I wouldn't recommend anybody, follow suit and just go and try everybody's medication until they find something that works. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with being prescribed medication because it is a tool. And, it's the same as whether it be mental health and depression. A lot of people don't go and get medication because they feel there's a stigma attached, and they feel embarrassed and all these things, when actually it is a chemical imbalance, which ultimately, if you can help your body by giving that a little bit of a help with those medications that can put allow your mind that flexibility to just be able to process things properly, it makes a huge difference. So
yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest, I am a fitness coach. I am a boxer. I hate medication. I don't take a paracetamol if I've got a headache. So I am totally against medication. And I didn't like the idea of taking meds. I was very skeptical about it. But as soon as I took that first bit of medication, I knew my life was about to change.
It's this is definitely resonating with a few people in the audience. I think there's a young man, Ryan Wilkie, in the audience who's giving you the loads of thumbs up here as well.
What's going on, bro?
Ryan, if you've got any questions for Liam, please do us a favor, drop them in the comments there as well. And Martin, thank you for joining us as well. And I can't see everybody at the moment on the screen, but do drop in the comments where you're joining us from.
Well, you can see more. You can see more than me, mate. I can't see a thing.
I've had to open another screen here, so that's why I've just see these messages pop up. But Liam, what advice would you give to somebody that has gone through that? Nobody goes through exactly the same journey, but they'll experience similar setbacks and challenges. And somebody that's been through all the roller coaster of a ride that you have, what advice would you give them? Yeah, I'd leave it at that.
What advice? I would just say this to anyone that's struggling: focus on what you can do, and don't make yourself miserable trying to do the impossible. Pay attention to what you're paying attention to, and ask yourself, how is this emotional belief serving me, and why am I angry with this person?
It's and that's interesting, because I sent Joel a video link earlier this week about a video that Jamie Oliver did on Instagram, and I didn't know that he has dyslexia as well, and he hates reading. But one of the things that he said was, don't focus on the things that you can't do. Just surround yourself with the people that can do the things that you can't do, and therefore each one of you work to your strengths.
100%. Well, I've got to be honest with you. So before getting a medication, I never read a book in my life, and I dread the thought of doing it. Since getting a medication, I've managed to read one book, which I'm pretty proud of. But do I enjoy reading a book? I can't say I particularly enjoy it. It was a good book. Do I look forward to starting a new book? Probably not. But, everyone's different. And I think that's really important for people to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm, if I had to show you my library, I have a hell of a lot of books.
How many you read?
That is the question. So I've actually, in my latter years, I've read, I would say, not even a quarter of them.
Right.
But because of my, there were years that, like, when I finished school, I didn't want to go and get my nose stuck in another book. I hated school for because I was thrown out of class, and getting into trouble, and because my concentration levels were like, I was like freaking all over the place. So when I left school, I was like, man, I'm done with that. Even though a few years later, I actually went on to go and study law, which was quite hilarious because I was terrified to open a book. But I kept seeing people get into trouble for things outside of their control, and I wanted to be able to help people and also help them defend myself. But audiobooks, I found, is the only way that I can really get through things. And when it comes to attention span, because you get Audible, which is the full version of the book, which is great. But again, listening to so much information, again, it can be overwhelming. So yeah, you kind of get like a third, maybe about 20 minutes into the book, and you think, okay, well, yeah, that's more than enough information for now. So I like there's another app called Blinkist, which basically is a summary of the book. So what they do is they summarize each book in 15 minutes or less.
Okay.
And they only give you the highlights. And then if that book resonates with you, then you can go and get the full version.
Wow.
And for me, that was a game changer, because I was like, okay, so that's what that book is like. Everybody's talking about, and I find it hilarious because a lot of people talk about how many books they read. And then when I ask them about it, you kind of find out that I read chapter 1, but I had to say, I got the book. And so, what is your style of learning, and how do you learn best as an individual? Because I guarantee you somebody out there is probably going to be very similar or be able to benefit from that.
Yeah, well, I found out that the best way I learn is early in the morning, early, and it's usually straight after a workout, whether it be a run or a gym session, when the endorphins are flowing. I tend to crash later on in the day, but as we all know, when you've got ADHD, you never stop trying, right? So I feel like I can't sit still. I can't watch telly. I just can't. I don't ever watch telly. I could never, ever, ever go to the cinema. So I constantly got to feel like I'm doing something. So even if it isn't necessarily productive, I will still try to learn, and it will go throughout the whole day. I don't know whether I've got OCD as well. That's something that I'm going to look at.
Why do you say that?
I think I might have OCD.
But what makes you think that you've got OCD?
Oh, do you know what? It's weird. So I've got 2 dogs indoors, right? I get severe separation anxiety from them as well.
Yeah, I saw your post on that. I was like, yeah, I get that.
yeah, badly. And from my mum, I get that a lot. Do you know what? This is weird. So if I go out for something to eat, and say if I have something to eat, which is pretty nice, that I know my mum might like, I feel guilty for eating it, even if I'm starving. Is that a thing?
Yeah, well, it is. But that's also, I have a wife and 2 kids, and if I go out and I'm, and I have something, but it's a mental bit of it. I don't know your whole story, so I can't go and diagnose and say officially.
Yeah, well, I got told that I might have autism and I've got ADHD, autism and OCD, because apparently it shows up like that too. I don't know.
So some of these things, but a lot of the times people want to attach a label too quickly. But if you look at our life experiences, each one of us have had a different journey, and they're some, and a lot of the ways we act as adults stem from things that experiences that we had as children before the age of 7. So for me, as an example, with that situation, I remember being bullied at school, and I was at a new school. I think we all would have at some stage, so we have to kind of overcompensate and freaking fight back. But I remember my younger brother, like somebody came and they grabbed my lunch, and it was at this new school, and I was like feeling really bad. And my younger brother, I saw him in the school ground. He walked over to me and he was like, "Oh, I saw that guy take your lunch," and he gave me his lunch, and I was like, "Oh no!" So we shared it, but I felt so guilty that my little brother, and ever since, like not ever since, but for a while after that, I kind of had that similar thing. Whenever I had something, I would feel guilty about not being able to share it with the people that I love. So that's not necessarily a diagnosis. It's just based on life experience and something that's happened to you that's given you've anchored that in your past. and therefore, and that's actually caring. You know, that's you sitting there going, hey, well, I'm eating this, I'm enjoying this. Actually, you know, my mum would really like this.
Yeah, I feel terrible. It's crazy. Well, I mean, I've got another one as well that's really, at the minute anyway, taken over my life, and it has done for a while. So I don't know whether it's got anything to do with ADHD, OCD, or whether I'm just superstitious because I'm Irish, right? But I'm constantly...
I've just come back from Ireland. Where in Ireland are you from?
Oh, really? Tipperary, the family are from.
Ah, okay. Tipperary is in southern Israel, southern Ireland. Yeah.
That's right. So I'm constantly looking about for a number 7. So this is listen to this. So this has got hold of me though. I don't know whether it's autism or whatnot, but so I could be driving down the street and I'm constantly looking for a number 7, and I could be creeping up to where I live, and my mind will go to me. If I don't see 3 number 7s by the time I pull into my turn, and I've got bad luck. So I'm constantly looking about now. So I'm going down the motorway looking for number 7s. It's like,
I love this.
Older me. I don't know what that is.
So it's actually quite funny because, like I said, I've just come back from Ireland now. And the reason for my trip, one was to go and meet some people through LinkedIn that I've met. But the main reason was my daughter said to me she wanted to go visit a friend in Dublin. And with her ADHD, and we're waiting for an autism diagnosis to come through, she's exactly the same when it comes to listening to the radio. So if I put the volume up, if I put it on any number, if it's not a multiple of 5, she can't cope.
Wow.
So it has to be on the volume 5, 10, 15, or 20. And the problem is the decibel difference. It's like it bounces up quite high. But she physically can't breathe if she knows that it's not on one of those numbers. So I can change it if she's not looking, but if she sees that then she can't. She literally starts having anxiety, and that's it's just one of those things that some people see as an oddity, but other people see as, well, that's the thing that kind of sets me at ease. It's my kind of thing that makes me comfortable. And you've got to do
you say that though, but it's half took my life over, so I'm forever looking around for a number 7. I'm like, right, there's 1, there's 2.
Here's what you got to do: is you got to go and get that 777 either tattooed on you, or go and get that sticker on your windscreen. So that
I've got number 7 in my car, but it's not the same.
It's not the right number 7.
So I got a number 7 on a bit of paper in my car, but then I'm like, no, but I need 3. But my mate was like, why don't you just have 3 number 7s? And I was like, yeah, but it's not the same. So basically I'm like, all right, cool. So if I don't see a number 7 by the time I get to my turning, I'll look around. I might see a 6 on one number plate, a number 1 on another. 6 on 1 is 7.
So you'll do some extra laps just until you find your 7.
Yes, mental.
I hope you don't do that running through the Irish countryside looking for number 7, because that's the distances between houses there, man. It could be days.
Don't. I've only ever been back once. Quite a boring place it was for me.
Then you've been to the wrong place.
Really?
I tell you what, Ireland, there are so many incredible places. So you've just got to go and look around. But we'll talk off the screen about that.
Yeah.
For sure. But so let's get back, because I'm conscious of time and we've got to wrap up. When it comes to training, because one of the things that you mentioned earlier, because of your ADHD, you know that first thing in the morning, you get up, you train, and you focus better.
Yes.
And that's a real important key thing to understand how you as an individual functions, so that you can work to the best of your abilities. I think what a lot of people do you find that when you're coaching or working with people, they trying to work to a program that is set up for somebody else and therefore it doesn't work for them? And
exactly.
Why they get frustrated?
I am a high performance ADHD health and fitness coach, because look, again, I'm a living, breathing, walking, talking example of what I do. And I know firsthand that fitness combats ADHD. and I know how to deliver it in a way that they will get it. And it's, you know, they're not going to find it boring, and, you know, they're going to, you know, I'm going to be able to gel with them and give them the right guidance so they can get it done without feeling overwhelmed and stressed.
Yeah, sure, man. Liam, I think we're definitely going to have to try and do another interview because I know we had a big struggle earlier today. But here's the challenge. Here's the challenge because, and Joel threw himself under the bus with this one because he did say these in-person interviews are better. And you're only in Chigwell. We're in, you know, I'm in Bushy. He's in Boreham Wood.
That's not far. I was in Boreham Wood the other day. Wait, my little nephew, he plays for Manchester United. He's only 17. Listen,
Academy.
His name's Harry Amos. He's gonna.
Oh wow!
He plays for England too. But just coming back to what you said, I went to Boreham Wood FC the other day to watch him play.
Stunning. Well, hey, I think we're definitely going to.
It's not far. It's half an hour away.
We're definitely going to have to connect and maybe do a live interview, maybe even at one of the football clubs or some fitness place that you can.
Funny you should say that because that Pilates studio that let me go, one of their gyms was in Bushy and I used to work there.
I'm sorry about that.
Don't be
Don't blame me because it was in Bushy. Tell me quickly.
No, it's not far. It's not far.
It's all good. So tell us quickly, how, if people were to reach out to you, what are the three things that you could really help people with by them reaching out to you?
Focus, for sure. Self-worth. And if you're looking to get fit and healthy, you're absolutely in the right place.
I tell you what, those are like 3 silver bullets because for people with ADHD, focus is a fascinating one, as you know. And then what was the other one? See?
Funny you should say that. I've forgotten myself.
Joel?
No, listen, self-worth.
Self-worth. But that self-worth one is actually bigger than people realize. Because as somebody with ADHD, exactly what you were saying earlier, Liam, where you thought that you were, you used the word stupid, or you feel inadequate, you feel worthless. And the problem is when we do that throughout our childhood and even our teens and 20s, that becomes a mindset that it becomes ingrained, that it's like us punishing ourselves for years. So, us expecting to change that overnight is, like, trying to win the lotto. And being able to work with somebody like you, as an example, gives them a much better chance because you can relate and understand the challenges they've been through.
Exactly.
So kudos to you.
Exactly. And before you go, I don't know whether you're going to wrap up anytime soon, but I just wanted to say this. I heard the other day someone calling ADHD a mental illness. Now, I don't know what all that is about. So just because I can't focus, I'm mentally ill, am I? Are you sure? And I thought that was crazy. So don't beat yourself up. You're just a little bit different. You learn at a different pace. Again, focus on what you can do and don't make yourself miserable trying to do the impossible.
I'm not even going to add any words to that because I think you've summarized it very succinctly. And unfortunately, I can babble for a while, as Joel knows.
Yes.
I think on that note, Liam, firstly, if you haven't connected with Liam, go and check him out on LinkedIn. Liam, we are definitely going to chat. I've sent you a connection request.
Okay.
And we'll definitely connect. And Joel, I'm putting the ball in your court. Let's set up a face-to-face. And then we can set up once we've had a face-to-face, we can set up a face-to-face interview as a follow-up.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd love that.
I think with your unpredictability, Mac, which is as much unpredictable as the weather right now.
Hold on. I've just proven this weekend. Okay, yes. So Liam doesn't know this. I've got long COVID, so I'm like a roller coaster. But I've just managed to do 18, 20 hours in the car because I, instead of catching a plane, I drove to Holyhead in Wales, caught the ferry, then drove all over Ireland. And Liam, I'll share a picture and you'll understand, as somebody who's into fitness, the area that I went to and the amount of like insane fitness people that were in these hills on bikes and running and all that. I was like, and people call themselves fit here in England when they go find a little hill. It's a different world. But on that note, I'm looking forward to having many more conversations with you. Please go and check out Liam. Follow him, connect with him.
I'm looking forward to having in-person conversation with both of you.
Yeah, I'd love that. I really, really would. And I'll get on LinkedIn. Sorry about my dogs. I'll get on LinkedIn. I'll accept your request. And anyone else that wants to reach out to me, just connect with me and we'll have a chat for sure. 100 million%.
Amazing. Well, there's a young man, Ryan Wilkie, who's just messaged over here where I'm going to put it up on the screen. He's just put there, "You've managed to hold my attention for an hour, Liam. Brilliant."
Yeah, that's good. That's great.
I'm sure he'll reach out and connect as well.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone connect with me. I look forward to speaking to you guys real soon, for sure.
Thank you so much for coming. And
thanks for your time, guys. Thanks for getting me on. I really appreciate it. Let's make next time better.
Yes,
absolutely. Well, we got through it. We survived.
Yeah, we got through it eventually.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, you both, for this great conversation.
Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you,
Liam.
And you.
Enjoy your night. Bye-bye.
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 All the best.